Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Let's look at section 1.6, solve linear inequalities. Before we get into actually solving them, let's review a few things. All right, let's review our inequalities. First thing we need to remember is we have our less than, we have our greater than. Okay, you also need to remember that we could have a less than or equal to. Greater than or equal to. Now, when graphing these, since they're linear, we're going to be using a number line when we graph. And when we mark our spot on that number line, there's two ways to mark it. If it's a less than or greater than, it's going to be an open circle. That's telling us that that number is not part of the solution. Okay, if the equal to is on it, it's going to be a solid or closed dot. Okay, what does that mean? That means that number is part of the solution. All right, so let's go ahead and look at a couple of examples here. First example. 4x minus 12 equals negative 16. Okay, now I put an equal sign there, but I'm going to change that. But what I want you to realize is we're going to solve it the same way that we would an equation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a greater than symbol there. So this is now saying 4x minus 12 is greater than or equal to negative 16. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and solve that like we would an equation. We're going to add 12 to both sides. Then we have 4x is greater than or equal to negative 4. We're going to divide by the 4 that's in front of the x, divide by that, and we're left with x is greater than or equal to negative 1. Now, when we graph that, we make our number line. I'm going to go ahead and put the negative 1 here, but then I want you to put at least 2 below that and 2 above that. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the dot. Now this would be a solid dot on negative 1. And we're going to go to the right because it's greater than. Okay. All right, there's one example. Again, remember the power of rewind and pause if I'm going too fast. All right, the next one, let's see here. Example number 2. Let's say we have negative 3x plus 6 is greater than, let me make that a little bit better, greater than negative 9. All right, so I want to solve for x. So I'm going to subtract 6. And now I have negative 3x is greater than negative 15. I'm going to divide by negative 3. All right, folks, red alert, red alert. Okay, we are dividing by a negative. Don't forget, when dividing by a negative or multiplying, okay, let me repeat, dividing or multiplying by a negative to both sides, the inequality is going to flip. So this is now x is less than positive 5. All right, so let me make my number line. Again, I'm going to put a 5 here, but I'm going to go 2 below, and I'm going to go 2 above. This is an open dot. Let me switch colors. Open dot, and I'm going to go less. So again, open dot means the 5 is not part of the solution, but anything less than 5 is. All right, 2 more examples, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to look at compound inequalities, and there are 2 types. This is what the first one looks like. You might see something like this. -7 is less than 5x minus 2, which is less than or equal to 8. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we call an AND situation. All right, here we go. So I'm going to split this. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. Since we have 2 inequalities in it, okay, we have a middle and we have a left side and a right side. So what we're going to end up doing here, ladies and gentlemen, is I want to get x by itself, but the x is going to remain in the center. Okay, if you don't like this method, then have your teacher show you an alternative way to do this. So this is what I'm going to do, okay? Again, we're going to get x by itself in the middle. Here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 here. But I need to add 2 to this side, and I need to add 2 to that side. Okay? It's gone now in the middle. So now on the left side, I have a -5, which is less than 5x, which is less than or equal to 10. All right, now I'm going to get rid of the 5 in front of the x. So I'm going to now divide by 5. So that means I need to divide this by 5, and I need to divide this by 5. Please remember, if you divide by a negative, the inequalities are going to flip. All right, but we're not dividing by a negative. So what do we end up with? We end up with a -1 here, which is less than x, because that's now gone, and that became a -1, which is less than or equal to 2. All right, so when I make this number line, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and put my -1 here, and I'm going to count up to 2. So -1, 0, 1, 2. Okay, I probably could have done a little bit better job on that. Now, on the -1, it's an open dot, because that is not part of the solution. But on the +2, it is a solid dot. And since x is between the 2, we connect those 2 like this. No arrows allowed on that compound inequality. Okay, if you extend the line and put an arrow on it, it's wrong. All right. All right, one more example, ladies and gentlemen. This is another compound inequality. Okay, except this one's going to look like this. So here we go, example 4. So we've got like 4x minus 7 is less than or equal to 5, or, okay, or instead of and, 3x plus 2 is greater than or equal to 23. All right, so we're going to solve both of these separately, but we're going to graph on one number line. All right, so I'm going to do the one on the left first. So I'm going to go ahead and add 7. So 4x is less than or equal to, let's see, I think that's 12. I'm going to divide by 4. And I'm going to get x is less than or equal to 3. Or, okay, now I'm going to go and do this other one. I'm going to take away 2. So now I have 3x is greater than or equal to 21. I'm going to divide by 3. And I'm going to end up with x is greater than or equal to 7. All right, here we go. I'm going to make my number line. Now, my smaller number is 3, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with 3, and I need to go to 7. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, looking at my inequalities, that's a less than or equal to, so that means that is going to be solid on the 3, and it's solid on the 7. But now be careful, ladies and gentlemen, this is an OR. So x is less than 3, so it should be going this way, ladies and gentlemen. Or it could be greater than or equal to 7, so that's got to go that way. So or is going to go in opposite directions and is going to come, and it's going to be in the middle of the 2 dots. All right, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That was hopefully a pretty quick and easy lesson. We'll see you next time. Good luck.